All right, we're going to continue with our NBA season previews. We have Matt Hanifan here. He's wearing the jersey. Miami Heat. Yeah.
Got the Bam jersey on today, baby.
Yeah, we're previewing the Miami Heat today. Unfortunately, they lost to my team in the playoffs. So we can wrap up with start with a little, hey, what happened to the Heat last year?
Well, I mean, they won the Eastern Conference, or
Sure.
at least in the regular season, they went 53-29. It was a surprise to most people, despite having multiple injuries throughout the year. I mean, Jimmy missed 25 games. Bam Adebayo missed 26 games. Lowry missed 19 with due to a couple of different times due to some personal reasons, which he mentioned in the offseason is still affecting him, and hopefully that's gotten resolved. But eventually, I mean, they broke down in the playoffs. They beat the Hawks in 5 games, beat the Sixers in 6 games, but unfortunately, the surging Boston Celtics, who had the best defense in the league in the regular season, I think had one of the best defenses in the playoffs. They lost 3 straight home games, they meaning Miami. Unfortunately, they came practically a shot away from beating Boston in Game 7, but Jimmy couldn't sink it. It was probably the most fun season from a fan that I've had since the Big Three. I don't think it's unfair to say that. I mean, they saw multiple leaps from players like Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, and Tyler Hero, who won 6th Man of the Year and just got extended a few days ago. And then they, of course, had players like PJ Tucker, who are not there anymore, who you probably won't find a bigger PJ Tucker fan than me. I love PJ. I think that's a big loss that they had. I mean, we'll get into like the losses and gains.
Well, sure, we can go right into it now. So a team that's a couple wins away from going to the NBA Finals, surely Pat Riley and the Heat, they did a lot to improve the team this offseason, surely.
Oh yeah, no, they added several players. They really didn't do a whole lot this offseason, other than be involved in several trade rumors for Durant, Mitchell, Kyrie. Of course, they're also one of the teams in the NBA, like the Lakers and the Knicks, who just have an interest in every single player, but won't always get said player. I mean, at least they do their due diligence and it gets leaked to reporters somehow. But really, their only ad was Nikola Jovic, who they drafted 27 overall. They shifted their 2-way contracts with they added Darius Days and Marcus Garrett for his second stint, and then Jimmy also added his dreadlocks. That was probably maybe their biggest ad of the offseason was Jimmy's dreadlocks. So it was a pretty inactive offseason. And when you look at it from the perspective of not every other Eastern Conference team, but most of the contenders did add outside of the draft. And so you could say it was a little bit of a letdown, but I'm still probably higher than the consensus on this team, not just because I'm a fan of it. I just believe in Eric Spoelstra. I believe in that organization. I think injuries did bite him in the butt. Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Kyle only played 34 games together last year. They went 24-10 in those games. If they can stay healthier, I think there's a legitimate chance they could be a home court team in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they're going to win it again, but you never want to count the Eric Spoelstra heels out. But yeah, they didn't do a whole lot. You mean to tell me
Danny Ainge, he didn't just hand over Donovan Mitchell to you guys?
Nope.
No.
I can't see. That was just all of that was weird to me. It's been going around for like 2 or 3 years. The Bradley Beal, Donovan Mitchell type players have been rumored to the Heat. And I just never really saw a route to get them. I mean, Beal's never expressed interest in wanting to leave. And he proved that by signing the big, 5-year Supermax. I mean, as we see in the NBA now, you could sign the Supermax and then leave in a year, but he's really shown no indication that he's wanted to leave. And then Mitchell, I just didn't think Miami had good enough assets, especially since Danny Ainge was there, to pry him away. I just never really thought that was a super realistic route, unlike many other Heat fans out there. And just, I don't know, pundits. I don't want to even say pundits, but just a lot of Heat fans were just like almost hopelessly wishing that they were able to get one of those two. I mean, I would have liked to add Donovan Mitchell or Bradley Beal to the team, or a very good shot creator, but I just never really saw a route. And the same thing with, I mean, I was number one on the internet, not internet, but I was one of those people who was tweeting Kevin Durant memes and all that stuff when that got floated out there, I think the day of free agency. And I mean, that obviously never came into fruition either. If there was no route for Donovan Mitchell or Bradley Beal, there was certainly not going to be a route for Kevin Durant. That was just the simple matter of the fact. It was mostly just hopelessly wishing and trying to talk yourself into it. But not other teams in the league saw a feasible, or I didn't think Miami had good enough assets. I didn't think Miami had good enough assets. So yeah, it was just kind of like that. So they did so much this offseason to try not to run it back by trying to acquire all these big stars. They're really evidently running it back.
So the Heat, they're running it back. Who would you say is their key player? Is it new dreadlock Jimmy Butler? Are we seeing a new version of him coming up?
I would say no, because Jimmy is a player that he's almost, I know you're not going to like me for saying this, but he's almost like LeBron in the aspect of where he will ramp it up come playoff time, and he won't necessarily like put on the full display in the regular season. But obviously he's not LeBron James. Don't get it twisted, but he's one of those players where you look at it, it's like, all right, if he goes 100% in the regular season, he's going to go 120% in the postseason, aside from the 2021 year against Milwaukee. But
no, that's fair to say. Clutch playoff guy. That's all I got to do.
Yeah. Like you just see a different level of Jimmy in the postseason as you do the regular season. Regular season, he'll take one-legged fadeaway three-pointers. He won't really do that in the postseason. Is
he going to yell at Spoelstra again?
Huh?
In the regular season?
Who knows?
Okay.
But I'd probably say the key player for them is probably Bam. He said during media day that he wants to take 18 shots a game. I don't think that's very realistic, because considering his career high is like 13 and a half.
18.
Yeah, he said 18. I would say a realistic goal for him is probably like 15, 16 maybe, but like 18, that's a lot. And of course they had their inter squad scrimmage yesterday, and he shot like 3 threes, or he made 3 threes, and it's like, Bam shooting threes, like, wow. But I would probably say he's their key player, because I think he's the second best player on the team. I think he's a player who could average 22, 10 with like a steal and a half and like a block. Like he's one of the most versatile defensive players in the league. I think there's a strong case that you could say he's the best like defensive center in the league, or best defensive player in the league that's not named Giannis. I just think he's an incredible player, and I think he will be their key player to the regular season, or at least
X factor. Miami Heat. Who do you have?
If you want to win a championship, I'd probably say Tyler Hero.
Okay.
Because Tyler Hero
got paid. Very rich man now.
He did. I would say Tyler, because he's gotten a lot of flack for his postseason play, and some of it rightfully so. Other than the 37-point game that he had against Boston in the bubble, like he hasn't really been all that special in the postseason. I mean, he's had a few good games here and there, but it wasn't like a consistently great playoff performance or playoff showing in like a series, for example. And I think if Miami really wants to win a championship, especially with how good the Eastern Conference is now, I think the X factor that is Tyler Hero. I mean, of course, they're going to need to stay healthy. They're going to need their depth to play well. But I think Tyler Hero is like the guy that like Heat fans are looking at, like, you need to step up when it matters most consistently.
I'm glad you picked
I think he has it in him. He hasn't shown it yet, but I do think at some point or another he does have it in him. Potentially this year, maybe next. But I think the X factor, if you want to win a championship, or at least make it there again, I think Tyler Hero is that guy.
Yeah. I think that's the right call. I'm just glad you didn't do a 10-minute spiel about how Caleb Martin's the X factor.
I could have. Listen, that starting four is a big hole.
Okay.
I don't think one player in particular will fill it, but Caleb might be.
Okay.
He might.
All right. What do we got? Season prediction.
I have him. I have a very preliminary standings list right now, but I currently have him 4.
Ooh. Is it because of the new baby? Less sleep for Spoelstra. He's your best asset.
Huh?
Spoelstra's your best asset. We can't have a crying baby in the house. Like, that might be a problem. Might lose 10 wins.
He already has 2 kids.
Okay.
I think one was born like pretty recent, or not this most recent one, but I want to say he had like one like a couple years ago.
Okay. Credit to him.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd probably say 4 right now, but dude, that East is so deep.
Yeah.
It's like I had probably changed it a few different times because I have Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, not in that order, but I have those 3 as the top.
That's the order
3
I have
teams.
it in.
Huh?
I have it Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Miami.
I think I have it Milwaukee, Philly, Boston.
Okay.
And then I have Miami and Brooklyn, Toronto, Cleveland. I mean, but like it's one of those things where like there's so much variance. Like, yeah, I think I'm higher on this team than most. But like when you look at how good some of these teams are at the top of the East, like one of them's going to have to be bad, or one of them's going to have to drop. So I see the case that like people might think Miami's like a 6 or a 7 seed. I don't think they're there, but like it doesn't not make sense in my head. Like, okay, like they didn't have the most active offseason in the world. And all of these teams improved considerably, some more than others. Like Milwaukee didn't improve as much as like Cleveland or Philadelphia or whatever. But like in my head, I still think Miami will find a way to make the 4 seed. Hopefully higher, but that's what I got right now. I don't know. I don't necessarily know where, like, I don't think they're going to make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals again. I think last year was probably their best shot in making the finals, at least in these last couple of years. But I don't think they make it back just because of how deep the East is. But like when you get to playoff time, you just don't know. I mean, there's luck that comes with it.
Yeah.
And maybe they run into the right team at the right time. I don't know, but I probably see him as like a second round exit. And I don't like saying that because I don't want that to happen, but in my brain right now, months and months out, that's where I'm at.
All right. That's Matt Hanifan. Make sure to follow him. Miles per hour, MPH 24. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I have it miles per hour _824 for Kobe. Rest in peace. And then underscore again.
All right. Make sure to follow him, myself, Trey Daubert. Check out the site, vendettasportsmedia.com. We're going to continue with our NBA season previews. As for Miami, signing off, and we will see you next time.